Kingdom of Terra overview. The race that was in control of the Kingdom of Terra was known as the Dwarves. The Dwarves came into existence in 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗔, after the ancients vanished from the world. They have a reputation for being the greatest builders and miners. Because of their different biomes, the Kingdom of Terra is divided into 4 sections: the north, east, south, and west. Outside, under the stars, there are villages spread out among the mountains, and one major city named the Free City of Commerce, which is in the very center of the Kingdom of Terra. The villages and the Free City of Commerce were not under the rule of any king, and their citizens were known as free citizens. They are not under the rule of any king because they live in the most dangerous environment of the Kingdom of Terra. It was known as the most dangerous environment because the monsters that roam around outside. Inside of the mountains, there are several cities that were built and were under the rule of kings. There are also dungeons that randomly appear, some that were built by the dwarves to honor the lords that died in the past, and some that are hidden and hold knowledge of the ancients. The Kingdom of Terra boasts several important places, among them the Great Forge, situated inside the mountain upon which the Free City of Commerce was built. Free City of Commerce, which was built in the center of the Kingdom of Terra, on top of a massive mountain. The Great Wall that was built around the Kingdom of Terra in order to keep the other races out of the kingdom. There is also a great labyrinth that all the underground cities are connected to, as well as a place called the Great Catacomb that's connected to the Great Labyrinth. It was built by the dwarves in order to bury their dead inside of. Geography. The Kingdom of Terra is a mountainous nation. It is divided into 4 areas: the north, east, south, and west. The north is known as the coldest part of Terra. The mountains and valleys are covered with ice and snow. There are pine trees, grass, and rare flowers that grow in this area. There are bears and other wildlife that are adapted to the cold that live there. While there is wildlife here, there are some monsters that also live in this area, like Wendigo, Yeti, snowdrakes, and others. The east is known as the land of the waterfalls. This area has a waterfall on each mountain. While the area is mostly covered in water, there are areas where trees, grass, and rare flowers grow. Mostly just bears and wolves live on the land in this area. The other animals are mostly different species of fish. While there is wildlife here, there are some monsters that also live in this area, like 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗜𝗔𝗟, Kappa, and others. The west is known as the Land of Flowers. These mountains are full of trees, grass, and a variety of flowers that cover the land. In the valley of these mountains, there are rivers that flow through them and a vast array of wildlife. The area has monsters like the Wampus Beast, Smoke Wolf, griffins, and others. The south is known as the land of volcanoes. This area is mostly rocky and full of volcanoes. There are trees that are heat resistant in this area. There is no wildlife that live here, only monsters. The monsters include fire salamanders, fire turtles, fire golems, phoenixes, dragons, and other monsters. History. In 1 LE, the nation was simply called the Nation of Terra. There were dwarven kings at the beginning of this era, but they kept to themselves and did not unite under one ruler until 157 LE, under the rule of King 𝗦𝗢𝗔𝗟 Greatsword. After King 𝗦𝗢𝗔 Greatsword became king, the Nation of Terra became the Kingdom of Terra. King 𝗦𝗢𝗔 Greatsword was known as the strongest dwarf in the nation and one of the greatest blacksmiths. He was also the first grand blacksmith in this era. Dwarven King 𝗦𝗢𝗔 Greatsword was the ruler of this nation until Emperor Augustus Proudbeil defeated the Dwarven King in combat and made him become his subordinate. During ME, Dwarven King 𝗦𝗢𝗔 Greatsword became the overseer of this nation until the current era, where Coel Proudbeil married Dwarven King 𝗦𝗢𝗔 Greatsword's first daughter, 𝗦𝗢𝗓 Greatsword, and became king. Government. The government of the Kingdom of Terra is a hereditary monarchy, where the king passes the crown down to the oldest child. If the oldest child is male, they will automatically become king, and their wife will become queen. If it is a daughter, they will need to marry first to become queen, and their husband will become king. It is also an absolute monarchy, where the king has absolute power over his people. Though if the king goes too far, everyone will rebel, since the dwarves are known as a rebellious race. Or they will leave to live in the villages above ground, or to the free city of commerce to become a free citizen.